G'day folks.
Hello.
Hello. We're just down the back here shooting some B-roll below a dam, but we'll get back to this in a minute. We're just going to give you a bit of an update on what's been going on over the last 8 or so weeks since the New Year's.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It has. How's it going, folks? That's a Bianca working on her holidays. She's doing a bit of a handover. I thought I'd just show you what Bianca brought back for us. We have a couple of Bunya pines. So a friend of hers at work, while she was down in Brisbane for work, brought these in for her. He found a big, massive Bunya pine nut. Ate the pine nuts, they taste just like normal pine nuts, and sprouted a few as well. So we've got these that are going to go out in the property. We also have some self-sown wombat berries. Apparently there's a wombat, and these are wombat berries. I've got to look them up, and I'll give you a bit of a spiel about them. While I'm editing this, I'll look it up. And over here we have some longevity spinach. It's a relative to the Okinawan spinach. I'm not a fan of that. I've grown it before if you've been around with us long enough. Absolutely thrives in the aquaponics, wicking beds, barrels, even just randomly in the ground. You, my dude, stay away from me while my back is turned. You just had a bit of a shot at Bianca. Just keep him like that so I can see him. How's it going, folks? Give you a bit of a heads up on what's been going on around the place. First of all, I hopped on the tractor the other day and managed to move a lot of the logs out of the way, mainly because I finished that little hoist that Hamish gave us. Thank you very much, mate. Basically, I've just been nipping around and picking up all the logs that they were using to hold the fence down, stop the pigs digging out in the old pig yards, because we would like to return those parts back into the larger paddock area. And yeah, so I've created a bit of a pile with them. Some's going to be used as firewood and some will be used as posts down the line. However, someone had a very smart thought last night drifting off to sleep.
Yes. We can use the posts in Leaky Weirs where the erosion is down the back.
Yes, so mainly because the Leaky Weirs, they're moist all the time, the timber's going to rot out a bit. So we could actually, let's go down and show them.
Okay.
As you were saying, Bianca, those hardwood logs
Would be perfect for Leaky Weirs down along here.
So we're just above the dam. There's a dam there, and we were below it when we did the intro. And we've just come across a perfect position on the upside. And how would you make a leaky weir, Bianca, and what do they do?
You make a leaky wall of logs across the creek and bed it in, and then it slows the water flow, it slows the sediment, and helps rebuild soil back to where there's erosion.
Yeah, so this here is where it flows in ultimately from the neighbour's property up there. And just over the years, there's been little bits of erosion that have gone rather deep in here. And yeah, you can see there's obviously some sort of a root build-up down there, and it's holding the sediment back. And it's not eroding on this side, but on this side here, it's been soft enough that it's been able to take it out. And the like all the way down to the top of the dam.
I know that's quite deep there, because when it was dry I was a bit concerned about how much soil we were losing and how much is building up at the entrance of the dam. Yeah,
exactly. So that's one of the issues we have. So it would be easy enough to clear out some of the black wattle weed trees in here and get the tractor down, or even drag it. We can drive it straight through without removing any trees from the other side, drag the trees down and put them in position. Now the idea is to have them go into the wall a little bit, so the water just goes over the top like a weir when it's full and doesn't erode around the outside. Yeah, that's one of the alternative uses we have for those logs rather than using them for firewood. Back to the video, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Had Hamish come up and stay with us. He was visiting a friend, so he helped us on Saturday afternoon, or maybe Sunday. We had a branch fall from that tree again, and it fell on top of, thank you Andy, fell on top of the aqueduct and dislodged the pipe from the rubber sleeve there. So chopped that up with the chainsaw, moved it out of the way, and H&B gave me a hand just to level it all out again and get it nice and straight. So we have a nice even water flow from the house now down to the tank, so that was good. Also got the Starlink in place where it should be, used an extension part the old owners had on a gate. It was on a bit of a lean the wrong way, so they had that on the bottom just to bring the bottom of the gate out a bit, just to level it up. So it did a nice job. Took the little 32mm pole there, or 1.25" pole, and we have the Starlink 2 set up. It's not permanently done, so I want to do something with the cabling, and also have a 20mm or 3/4 inch chock behind there. So I just want to make sure that's all nice and stable. The bolts are in about 3 inches or 75mm, so I don't think it's going anywhere, but it would be nice if it was just tidied up a bit. One of the issues we are having at the moment though, actually, just quickly, while I'm standing here, have a bit of a look around, and you'll see bits of a cobra. A little bit more, a cobra over here, and a little bit more. I was reversing out of there yesterday, and a gust of wind on the mower, a gust of wind took my hat off and I ran over it. So now my cobra is in little pieces all over the yard. I got most of it up yesterday. But another thing gave us a bit of a hand and collected some akubra and stuck it on top of a battery, and that is a rat. As you can see from all the little footprints all over the engine in the CX5, we have a rat. So I've got to look after that. The traps over in the shed, I don't know whether they've worked them out or what the go is, but they don't set off the humane trap and they don't set off the spring traps anymore, so we're looking for another option. Don't want to use baits, mainly because the chickens will eat them, and the goannas, the resident goanna Stumpy, she's not around today, she was around earlier, they hang around here and they'll eat any rats that are poisoned, and we don't want them to die from a secondary poison. So we're going to try something else. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but you can get electronic and pneumatic rat traps. The A24 is one that we're looking at getting. It's about $150 for the basic model, and it uses a CO2 canister that pushes a piston in to do away the rats and mice. There is a cheap Chinese version that uses electricity in a piston, but I just watched a whole video series, 15 episodes, and the guy didn't even get one rodent, so we'll go with the good one. It's by Good Nature, I think they're a Kiwi company, and there's also electronic ones. They work really well too. The rat guy, or the mouse guy, Sean Woods, I think his name is, on YouTube, he's done a few different reviews. But the problem with them is rats walk in, they get zapped within a box, and then they're stuck in the box and nothing else can go in there. And I have a feeling we have more than one. And those little A24 pneumatic ones, they're elevated, so the rat will go in and then fall down dead, and then another one can come in and then have another crack at it, and yeah, you can actually get a few different rats in one trap. So we're thinking about setting it up here along the wall. The reason we want to get rid of them, obviously, is we don't want rodents sent around the house, because that brings in snakes. We do get a number of friendly snakes, like the brown and green tree snakes, and also carpet pythons. It's just the venomous eastern browns and red belly blacks that we're not really that fond of. Just ask Jack. As it is, we like to keep it pretty clean here. We have nice little gaps behind the buckets there, so we can see anything when we come out. Make sure there's no weeds growing up against the house, so there's nowhere for them to hide. So yeah, bait, the only time we'll use baits is when they get in under the house there. So we've dispatched the last lot from there, and all those rats we found pretty much all dying, half dead, around the side of the house here. So yeah, we got them and put them in a bucket before anything else could get them. Just a quick little heads up on a treatment we have done on the car. We went out and we bought some peppermint oil, because peppermint oil is supposed to really annoy the rats. They don't like it, mice as well. On Mousetrap Monday, they show that as being a very effective method. Unfortunately, I think we bought an inferior kind, didn't we, Bianca?
Yeah.
Just a bit cheap. So we've gone out and we've bought some Thursday Plantation. They're a very well-known brand here in Australia, and it smells a lot stronger, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so in this little bottle, which is about, actually, if I had glasses, I could probably tell you. What's that say? 500 mils, so half a litre. There's about 40 to 50 drops of this really heavy stuff. And what I'm going to do is, even though we've already washed down the engine and sprayed it with, oh look, we've washed it down and we've already got muddy little rat feet on it. Looks like a little wet patch there, and there's a little nugget on the battery. So what we're going to do this time is spray this more full-on peppermint oil, just roughly where we see the footprints. Oh wow, can you smell that?
Yeah, it's strong.
It's a lot stronger than the other one. A bit of a squish up there because we think they're actually going into the bonnet through those gaps there as well. So Bianca plugged them up with some cotton wool with some oil on it last time. Didn't work, obviously. So there you go, that's what we're going to do, but we're still going to get those A24 dispatching stations, I think, as well. So, pardon me. But yeah, just a bit of an update on what we're doing. Try and keep the rodents out. Luckily, I actually haven't been in the ute yet. But then again, we did this before. We went down south for 3 days, and then, which you'll see the flooded road in the next section of the video. But yeah, we haven't seen any rat activity under the bonnet of that one since we've been back. So there you go. I think I'm being stalked by a jack dog. Hello, Jack. Yeah, so if anyone does have any experience or any feedback on those A24 rodent traps, that'd be fantastic if you could let me know. It's about the only one that I can see other than the bucket traps, which didn't work for us too well, that you can kill multiple rodents in one hit. I think those little cartridges go for 24 shots. So yeah, if you could let us know, that'd be fantastic. I might order one Monday if all I hear is good news from folks. I know not a lot of people have even heard about them, so I'm not expecting everyone to have an opinion about them. Just a bit of a quick look at the shed. You may not be able to work it out, but I've actually done some work in here. I've got some new shelves against the wall we picked up from Dad, starting to sort out some of his tools and bits and pieces. A lot of them are really rusted because they were left out in the open in open tins. So Bianca and I have already done a scrap metal run with a lot of tools and bits and pieces from around the place. That was what was in the trailer. Got a few more bits and pieces over here. Stuff like these router tips. These are only cheap ones from Aldi, but still, they would have been good for a couple of uses. And we've got some of these thread repair kits as well. So they were in the last bucket I saved. Oh, so here we go. There's some dies, thread cutting dies. Just left in a bucket with water. So we'll see what we can save out of there. But yeah, going through a whole heap of tools as well, like spanners and bits and pieces, trying to work out what to keep, what to give away or sell. And yeah, still doing the wicking barrels, getting that all sorted. I have been working on fixing the tractor though. I'll give you a run through on what we got here. We have a cone. This is a cone that goes over the end of the PTO shaft, so you don't end up like that, all tangled around it. Basically, this is a shaft that spins and gives power to implements. It comes directly out of the back of the tractor. Yes, it does, Andy. This one here, this pin has failed, and I ended up with this slip clutch just flailing all over the back of the slasher. As you can understand, there's quite a bit of weight and force flailing around, so that needed to come off and be repaired. What this is, it's actually a slip clutch. So what happens is the PTO is hooked into the gearbox of the tractor, and it is spinning around. This spins around, hits a gearbox, and that gearbox drives the blades under the slasher. And there's the new slip clutch. What this does is basically, if this is spinning around, something binds up the implement on the back and it seizes. It stops you from, it keeps this spinning around, and the clutch in there, the slip clutch in there engages or disengages, I suppose, and this just spins, and this one can stay locked up so you don't damage either your implement further or the tractor's gearbox. Now that pin failed, this flew off, smashed the old one of these. It is just a light protection so nothing gets caught up in this as it spins. Smashed that to pieces, and as it was flailing around, I have a feeling it has locked this in really tight into the end of this PTO coupling. So need to try and get that out. Bianca and I spent about an hour or so yesterday trying to get it out. We couldn't get it out. We were hoping all we'd have to do is buy a new clutch plate. This one we were going to keep and repair. It's just got some bent bolts, and redo the clutch pads in the middle. But yeah, it wasn't to be, so we decided that we probably end up needing another PTO shaft down the line. So we drove into Bunya yesterday, got a new PTO shaft. This one's a little bit too long, So what you do is you actually cut these down. So these extend out to different lengths and whatnot. So you cut the internal shafts down, and they yeah, just slide in and out. So you can use them on different implements. So nice spanking brand new one of them. And even if we get rid of our tractor, we can still use these on other bits and pieces. So it's not a waste of money, it's an investment in the future. Also got a new fuel bowl for the filter for the tractor, because the other one is leaking. I found that out the hard way this morning when I came up to do some checking on where I'm going to put bits and pieces. I forgot to turn this filter off yesterday. It's as simple as that. Just pulling that up, forgot to do it, and that has been dripping diesel all night. So that definitely needed to be replaced. So it's turning into a bit of a money pit, this tractor. But I don't mind the PTO and the slip clutch, because that slasher will go on any tractor we get. But yeah, just little bits and pieces like leaking and losing diesel is a bit of a worry. At least we'll have no grass grow there, I suppose. That's a bit of a bonus. But yeah, I think I'm going to spend the rest of the day just clearing this out, trying to find somewhere for the pedestal drill, and maybe hooking into one of those mowers and fixing it up, either taking the blade off the new one, thanks again Danny, or putting the chain back on the old one. I've just been using the new one to mow recently, and yeah, with all that rain, I dare say we're going to have to do it again. Oh yeah, by the way, 125 mils. When we left, the place was dry, the creek I mean. 2 weeks of no flow, and then when we got back we had to go through around about 300 mil, or a foot worth of water over the floodway. Looked like it got up to around about half a metre or 500 mil while we were away, but it came down on the Monday when we got back. So we couldn't have come back Sunday even if we wanted to, or Monday morning by the look of it. And you probably can't make it out, but there is an eagle, sea eagle, in that tree down there. But anyway, I'm going to get back to it and hook into this, put a podcast on, and yeah, try and clear some space so I can bring the tractor in here to do some other bits and pieces on it, and at least a bit of space to work on them. So I do hope you're all well and happy, and I know I keep promising it, but there will be a wicking barrel video coming soon, and I'll leave you be. Cheers folks. We hope you enjoyed that collection of updates from over the last couple of months leading on into the new year. And if you like that sort of farm content, let us know in the comments section below if you've stuck around this long. Just sort of, while we're not doing much aquaponicking or growing at the moment, it's a good idea for us, I suppose, to check with you guys if you like this sort of stuff.
And if there's anything in particular you really want us to focus on a bit more?
Yeah, there are gardens on the grow, small ones.
And we're about to fix the next one. The next one,
yeah. We've had issues with chickens digging through garden beds, so we're looking at maybe keeping them better corralled, or just some temporary fencing until we get their other day pen done. But anyway, that's enough rabbiting on. Yeah, if you're into aquaponics and you want to check out my guide, there'll be a link below, as well as free videos you can watch here on YouTube. And we will catch you next video. See you later, folks. Have a good one.
Bye.
He's very loud.
This is what we experience on road trips. But watch. What's that?